Handling's also great, just like other IFS and IRS vehicles. So you do feel a little bit of torque steer in the two-wheel drive mode. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing a 2023 GMC Acadia AT4. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the National GMC here in American Fork for giving me some time with this Acadia. This one is available for sale for the time being. So if you're interested, I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. Definitely check them out. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 26 on the highway, with power outputs being 310 horsepower and then 271 pound-feet of torque. Well, let's ignore my fingers slipping there on the transition clip and talk about the front end of the AT4. So first off, you've got the signature Acadia hood, as you guys can see, and then coming down below, I'm a big fan of the C-shaped daytime running lights, and then you've got the LED headlamps to match that, and then you guys can see the coloration here on the grille, a little bit darker to go with the sportier theme of the AT4. And it's got that front camera there down below the GMC logo, and then you guys can see the trim all around here, and then notice with the fog light as well, and then notice more of that silver trim, and overall looks good. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 255, 65, 17 in the front and over in the rear as well. If we take a closer look at the wheel, it's been all blacked out again to go to the sporty theme of the AT4. And then notice we've got pretty aggressive tires for a crossover. And we do have independent front suspension, also independent rear suspension as well. AT4 logo right there. And then if we take a few steps back, here's kind of like your full side profile. And again, with those beefy tires, it actually looks pretty dang good. Now here's our key fob. We have our unlock function or lock function remote starting in the opening here for the hatch. Just press that a couple times and then the hatch will pop right open. And what you guys will notice is with the third row up, there's not a massive amount of storage space, but notice we do have some storage space underneath there. If we pull these straps, then that throws down the headrest, and then you can just throw down the whole seat, and that helps out quite a bit with storage space. And then you guys can see here with the cup holder situation, and then notice with the USB, and then you have these tabs here to pull down the second row if you guys are wondering. Another little charging port there. Now as for the third row, from a I guess seat perspective, what you guys will see here is it's actually got a pretty cool design on the seat itself. Sorry about that horrible camera view, but headroom is actually really solid back here, and you can fit adults back there. Over long road trips, I'd recommend reserving it for kids, but it is adult friendly at least. And other than that, when you're all done, just press this. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. Now finishing things up with the Acadia rear end, you can see again with the C-shaped lights, except I guess this one has like a extra long part on the top. And then notice with the Acadia logo AT4 badge, and then you can see with the exhaust tips, well I should say tips, I should say covers for the exhaust tips there on the back. And like I said, overall I think it has a pretty cool look. Now here's the door panel in the rear. You guys can see with all of the padding here, and then notice the darker trim that goes across, and then tons of storage space overall on the door panel, even this little cubby right there. And then here are these seats. I really like the brown piping you get with the AT4 package, and then notice with the stitching down below, and the padding on these seats is actually pretty dang nice. Notice you got that to throw down the seat itself, and then popping in, look at that, even on the floor mats, got the nice, it matches my shoes, wow. Anyways. So yeah, pretty good. And then notice here with the climate controls, you got a single zone climate here for the rear passengers, heated seats. And then notice with the outlet and then the USBs. And look at this, I even have a sunroof. This thing is fancy back here. That is definitely fun. And there's also vents in the ceiling side of the front. Now let's go over the front door panel here. Notice again with the brown stitching that goes throughout, and then all of the padding. Front two windows are automatic, and then we also have separate functions for the memory seats and blind spot monitoring for the mirrors. And then also notice you can set the rear hatch, speaker for the Bose sound system, and AT4 there in the headrest. Looks pretty aggressive. Then notice again with the brown piping, and then all of the perforations down there in the center. Got your adjustments there on the side of the seat, AT4 badge, and then notice with the pedal layout down below. Parking brake right here. This is for the heads-up display, and then notice here with the padding and the stitching, and then also on the top of the dash. Let's pop in. So here's the steering wheel for the Acadia. Notice really nice trim all around, and then we have darker stitching there on the center portion. Some controls here for the center stack voice command phone control, and then we do have radio controls actually there on the back. And then we've got our cruise control here with the heated steering wheel function. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, all the normal works. There you go. Now here is the center gauge cluster. It's kind of interesting because you've got like the analog gauges on either side, and then they kind of go into the screen area, and then you have that main screen there in the center, which will show you different bits of info here on the Acadia. Notice we can go through different things like on the phone and all that kind of stuff. Info is probably what you're going to have it on most of the time. But anyways, that's for that part of the center. Now we do have some different modes we can go into. So notice we have an all-wheel drive mode, and then we have our sport mode, and then we have our off-road mode. The sport mode and the off-road mode will be in the all-wheel drive mode if you guys are wondering, and then obviously the two-wheel drive mode. Now here is the infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. And we have a bunch of different viewpoints here with this camera system. Full 360 camera system. Even tire shots, which, I mean, this isn't a huge crossover, so it's not necessary, but it's awesome that it has it. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, response time with the screen overall is fantastic. And other than that, we do have some analog controls here at the bottom of the screens for shortcut functions like going to the home screen. We've got our dual zone climate controls here at the front, and then we have our interesting transmission selector here with some buttons and levers and all that, so pretty interesting. And then notice our charging area is what we will call it. And then we do have this to turn off the auto stop start, stability control, hazard lights, parking sensors. And then notice here with the cup holders and then more of that brown trim. We do have heated and cooled seats. Buttons are right here on the drive mode select area. Notice for the hill descent control and then the lane departure assistance, and then like I said, the drive mode select there in the center. And then center console, pretty normal. Notice got the brown stitching, and then also continues along the dash, and then got more brown trim with that insert piece. Pretty normal glove box, and yeah, we got a sunroof here at the front too. Except this sunroof actually opens, so you got the functions right there. Well, if the camera would actually show you guys, there you go. You got the functions right here for the sunroof itself. So here's a window sticker for the 2023 Acadia AT4. You guys probably won't be able to see too much because of the glare. 3-year 36,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty, 5-year 60,000 mile on the powertrain warranty. Base MSRP is $41,000. Of course, we have our $1,500 OnStar charge, and then we have a few more options, including like the sunroof situation. Total MSRP is $49,960. Let's see how it drives. Go over visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, and you guys can hopefully see the heads-up display. Both the mirrors, which like I said, do have blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So, setting off here in the Acadia AT4. And first off, seat comfort's actually really good, and also air-conditioned seat function, because it's like 90 degrees outside. It is definitely not comfortable. What is this Nissan doing? Anyways, it helps out quite a bit to have air-conditioned seats when it's this hot. Thank goodness the sun went behind the clouds, though. Makes my life a whole lot easier. Now, first off, ride quality, pretty dang smooth. Kind of expected. This has independent front and rear suspension, so you know it's going to have smooth ride quality to it. Handling's also great, just like other IFS and IRS vehicles. So you do feel a little bit of torque steer in the two-wheel drive mode. I'm going to pop into the all-wheel drive mode now. Don't have anyone really behind me, so I'm going to punch it again. Yeah, it completely gets rid of the torque steer. Let's pop into the sport mode. Hello! Sport mode. Thank you. And since it's an AT4, we'll go over the dirt section here a little bit. Bump, 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 bump. Yeah, pretty compliant with the suspension. Person's probably like, what the heck is this guy doing? Yeah, you can feel the power distribution's pretty much equal. Obviously, I don't have a display or something that tells me it is equal, but I don't feel like torque steer or anything in the sport mode or the all-wheel drive mode. Yeah, it feels pretty solid. But obviously, the two-wheel drive mode is going to be the one you're going to want to drive in most of the time for fuel economy purposes. There we go. Pretty easy to switch over. I noticed the dial though, sometimes it doesn't always respond. It takes a second. So you gotta twist it like multiple times sometimes. But overall, I mean, drives really well. Seat comfort's great. I'm actually pretty dang impressed with this thing, especially considering the price point. A lot of other crossovers in this segment now are well over $50,000. I know a lot of people are gonna be a little bit upset about that $1,500 OnStar charge, but if you push that aside and you just look at what this has from a package perspective and the pricing, this is, again, just under $50,000, has heated and cooled seats for the front, heated seats for the second row. You got your own climate zone in the second row. You have a sunroof in the second row. You have a sunroof here for the front. It's got all-wheel drive. It's got some off-road credibility to it, especially with those tires. Those tires will do great in the snow, by the way. And so overall, with all the features this has, pretty dang good value. I will say that. It's a pretty solid value. And I thought I'd cut off the video, but you know what? I got to show you guys that this thing can off-road. So I'm going to put myself in the all-wheel drive mode, and I am going to have you guys look at me drive up this curb. This shows you, because I mean, this is ultimately probably going to be a mall crawler, so I'm going to show you guys that we can mall crawl with this. Look at that. Beautiful power distribution, making it up the curb. Wow, look at that. We're gonna have to two-pedal drive to get up that portion of the curb. Look at that. We just off-roaded this Acadia AT4 to get it back into its parking space here by the bush. Bam! This thing is off-road tested. Now we know this could handle hell's revenge because it can handle a curb here at the mall. See you guys. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this GMC Acadia AT4, and I'm so proud of myself. I don't think I said Terrain once in this video. For some reason, my brain likes to mix up Acadia and Terrain for some reason. I don't know why. Anyways, I'll see all of you in that next video.